Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Small Business 101 here on R But You. Joined again by a very special guest. I love guest episodes because, they get to be the experts and do everything for us. So we have Lindsey Zajac with Ahern, Murphy & Associates. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So we're going to be talking about keeping sales teams motivated, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm excited to talk about this because I'm in sales, so it should be interesting.
So take some notes.
Yep, important topic, and we can all learn something from it, even non-sales people.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, for anyone watching that doesn't know who you are, you just give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you got into this.
Yeah, so my background for the past 15 years or so, I've been in human resources, serving as a business partner mostly. So working with companies to help their people strategy align with their business strategy. A lot of talent development, a lot of talent management, training and development. Those were kind of my passions. After about 15 years of doing that, the last 5 were with PepsiCo. I was a senior human resources manager there, and that's what brought me to Buffalo and fell in love with this area and, live here now and are raising my kids here. And then about 18 months ago, I left PepsiCo to join my father's firm, Ahern, Murphy & Associates. He started it 20 years ago, and looking to join with him for a couple of years, work alongside him, and eventually take over the business. So,
awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
exciting and a little scary.
Yeah, right? Well, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So can you identify any common denominators in sales teams that are unmotivated or complacent?
Yeah. So I think in general, you're going to find things like a lack of clearly defined goals around how it ties to the organization as a whole. So you could call that lack of communication, you could call that lack of priorities, you could call it lack of clarity, but not really knowing exactly what's expected of them and how to do it, and then how it ties to the bigger picture. Because nobody wants to just be a cog in the wheel. They want to know that, by me accomplishing X, it's going to help the company grow or scale or whatever. So the lack of communication or goals. Sometimes you'll find some ineffective leaders or leaders that haven't found a way to try to motivate their teams or try to be accessible or try to be supportive. You might see some lack of training. Some of these more a consultative selling approach with a more sophisticated product like you all have. It takes a little bit more time to sort of get up to speed on how to best present that to clients. It's not just like,
it's hard.
Watch this video or read this book and you're up to speed. So I think maybe a little bit of lack of training around that process could be part of it. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, the last one I would mention is just maybe poor fit. Not everyone is meant to be in a sales position or wants to be in a sales position. And if you really haven't aligned their strengths to that job, you might see some lack of motivation.
Right. So there's so many different, like you mentioned, so many different personalities that can be in sales. People are motivated by different things. So I guess, how do you balance the different personalities on a sales team?
Sure.
Everyone's
sure.
gonna,
Absolutely. So you're right. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Sometimes as what leaders make the mistake of doing is they think that what motivates them is what motivates their team. And a lot of times that's not the case. So knowing what motivates you as a leader, but also taking the time to sort of ask or find out what motivates the people on your team. I'm sure you both know the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So someone that's more extrinsically motivated, they need like an external reward or a prize or money or something external that sweetens the pot, or they might be a little motivated by the fear of something negative or a punishment or something like that, where an intrinsically motivated person just finds kind of the satisfaction in doing a job well done, or they might strive for excellence, or they might just like a challenge. So knowing the difference between the two can kind of help you either create a better environment for that employee or put some drivers in that might help them be more motivated. Like, I'm an intrinsically motivated person and my husband is an extrinsically motivated person. So I can't assume that he's going to be motivated to get up and go on a run in the morning like I am. He might need me to, reward him
buy you
somehow.
lunch.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like most people assume sales motivated by money.
Totally.
Right?
That's a huge assumption.
Yeah. And it's like when we started, early, it's like, well, of course, just get a big commission check. They're going to be motivated. Why aren't you motivated? So this isn't really like, this is a different question that we didn't ask, but like, I guess, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like why that's, obviously you don't agree with that's the case, and then like what other things motivate people?
Absolutely. So I think the overgeneralization that all salespeople are driven by money, and that all that you need to be motivated is a paycheck or a strong commission or a bonus. It's a sweeping generalization, and also I think it's a little bit more of like an old school mentality. Where now some people are more motivated by relationship building. They love meeting people. Other people love the finding that perfect solution. They're kind of like problem solvers, and they want to get you the right fit for your need. So it's very possible to have a high performing salesperson that's not necessarily only focused on the money. But I think regardless of what they're motivated by, it's important they have to be motivated by something, because if there's nothing that makes them want to get out of bed in the morning and go into work and do their best job, that's not really something that you can help. So they gotta find something. Yeah. But other people are also like competitive, so maybe it's not the money, but like you do a silly challenge, or you do a fun contest, or you say, hey, whoever gets the most accounts this month is going to go to the Bills game. I mean, finding other ways to keep it fun and entertaining besides just, well, you should want to make a ton of money.
Right. We do fun competitive stuff here, so.
Yeah. I would
that motivates
so.
all of us,
I would
too.
assume. I mean, it's a good way to get people fired up and get the juices flowing.
Yeah. So what KPIs have you found to be most telling of a sales team's motivation, and when is the right time to address metrics as a concern?
So I don't know exactly what your KPIs are here, but I think that any key performance indicator when you're looking at a sales function, one of the big ones you want to look at is probably just the activity level. Like what's actually going on, looking at calendars, and not in a micromanaging kind of way, but if you're making the calls, you're sending the emails, you're out and about, you're banging on doors or networking, or just the activity equals the results. So little to no activity, you're never going to hit the jackpot and get some big account. So I would definitely look at some of the activity measurements. And also too, to help find out maybe where there's some problems or obstacles. Maybe people are making all the calls, but the first objection that they're getting, they don't have the tools or the skill set to kind of overcome that. So it's not the number of calls they're making; it's building that skill set to overcome the rejection.
I mean, it's interesting, like the not micromanaging part, but following like KPIs. I feel like it's hard to balance that.
Well, I think if you say like these are the indicators that will help drive optimal performance to make you successful in your role. The average person has X amount of meetings a month, or the average person is making X amount of calls, or the average person is shaking hands and getting cards from so many people. Like having some kind of guideline of what that looks like is meant to help them versus meant to like crack them with a whip if they don't do it. So
so what are some, like, for any business really, what are some like actionable strategies that they can do to kind of keep the sales team motivated? Because I feel like when somebody comes in, they're motivated, they're ready to go, they get started. 6 months goes by and they get demotivated, or a year goes by, maybe they had a few bad months in a row, and it's hard. I feel like once you lose motivation, it's really hard to kind of get it back. So how do you like either constantly maintain the motivation, or even further, if people lose motivation, what do you do to get it back if it's possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of ways to kind of tackle this question, but one of them is, people do what they see, and if you're kind of emulating that like high energy, or like we can do this, like you need to be motivated if you want your team to be motivated. So sometimes leaders don't always realize how impactful the way they walk into the room is, or the way they address people. So it starts with you. I think focusing more on the sales experience for your customers as opposed to just the outcome. You know, like what's the value proposition? What are you doing differently than your competitors? What are those things, and getting them really up to speed on that. Investing in their training. With any kind of a selling role, a lot of it's going to be that one-on-one coaching, because they can't just learn it all in a day or in a classroom. They have to learn it sort of while they're doing it. So finding a way to like help them on a client call or help them through a process so that you're building their capability.
Right.
People want to feel like they're doing a good job, and they want to feel acknowledged, and everyone wants to matter. So I think appreciating their efforts, rewarding their results, and just really trying to build their capability, remove obstacles for them, will help them stay motivated.
Okay. So you mentioned, like, you know, emulating what, you know, leadership's doing and such, and it made me think, because I'm not like a rah motivational person. I'm quiet and
Sure.
you know, and so yeah, how do you have to be rah like motivate
I don't think you
people, or-
have to be super loud and extroverted and charismatic, but you could walk up if they're on the top floor, wherever they sit here, and hey guys, how's it going today? Like, how we doing? We're gonna make some sale, we're gonna close some deals. I mean, whatever your terminology is, it's kind of, you know, showing some interest in them. Just sometimes just believing that they're capable of doing it. Like, we got this. Hey, if anyone needs my help, I'm here. If you want me to sit in on the call with you, I'm happy to do that. Like that level of just support. I mean, countless studies have shown that affirmation, encouragement, and support is way more rewarding and motivating long term than fear, threat, and intimidation. And I know that's not the kind of leader that you are, but like having that underlying, like, I'm here for you, I'm encouraging you, I believe in you.
So they know
will
like
help.
they have someone to go to.
They have
if they
someone to
need
go
it.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Or whatever your personal style is too. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
goofy and you want to do something to make them laugh, I mean, that's encouraging too. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all. We got through all our questions.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thanks so much. I hope.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
That was really good. Anyone running a sales team, getting into sales, starting a company.
Leadership.
Yeah, leadership. Like, this is great stuff. So,
Yeah.
thanks so much, Lindsey,
Yeah,
for coming on.
thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
And thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you next week.